Greetings, this is Amara Perkins, and I'm here to introduce David Spellman, the author of Just Like Music, Social Emotional Learning Inspired by Hip Hop. I first just want to say how excited I am that we're partnering together. I think that this partnership is going to be transcending. It's going to support so many teachers and students. I'm looking forward to this journey. So I'm going to start off, David, with a couple questions.
All right.
First, how are you doing today?
Every day is good for me. I come from an abundant source of positive energy and not, people like to say now, toxic positivity. No, not at all. Stuff happens in my life, but I choose to focus on the good and just how I can get out of, tough situations. But more so than not, life is beautiful.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so I have four questions for you.
Right.
First one, what inspired you to write Just Like Music and incorporate hip hop into social emotional learning?
Honestly, what inspired it was strictly hip hop. Before, I learned all the things about social and emotional learning, and I feel like it's a buzzword these days, but social emotional learning is everyday life. Learning how to interact with other people, dealing with the emotions that you experience, like self-talk, whether it be positive or negative, all of these are aspects of social and emotional learning. But how I tied into hip hop, many people do not know. There were four original elements of hip hop. You had the MC, which is pretty much the rapper, what most people know. You have the DJ, you have graffiti, and then you have breakdancing. There's a fifth element that not a lot of people talk about, but it's knowledge of self. If you look at any definition of social and emotional learning, you will see the crosswalk in the educational space, the mashup in the Caribbean culture, but there's synergy with that definition of social emotional learning is essentially knowledge of self. So I often say social emotional learning is hip hop based on that fact of knowledge of self. And if you listen to hip hop, yes, there's some negative connotations. Hip hop talks about everything, but to the trained ear, you can find many lyrics that talk about conflict resolution, that talk about self confidence, self efficacy, that talk about relationship skills. So essentially, hip hop is social and emotional learning. And what I've done with my book is I take those lyrics, I find the SEL competency that it matches, and I created a lesson.
I love it. I love it. And students, it's a way to engage them. It's a way to empower them as they're listening to music, right? And the lyrics in the music, you can pull out all types of literacy skills. And not only that, but you can flip it around so the students are actually creating some of their own lyrics around those topics. Love it.
Absolutely.
Love
Absolutely.
it. All right, my second question. Can you share any personal experience or stories that influence the content of your book?
Yeah, so all the songs in the book were either songs that helped me get through a difficult situation and or added value to my life. So my favorite chapter in the book is Harlem. So I have to give the backstory. Two rappers, Styles P, which most people know, and then Dave East. So Dave East is actually from Harlem. Styles P is from Yonkers, but both of their first names are David, my namesakes. So David East or David Brewster Jr. is Dave East, and then David Styles is Styles P. They created a mixtape called Beloved. So the title track, the opening line is the meaning of the name David means beloved or friend. That's the whole premise of the mixtape. I was 31 years old when I heard the song. I knew I was David Spellman Jr., but when I heard that song, I never knew my name meant beloved or friend. I did not have that self awareness. So because of that song, I gained so much self awareness about my name. But then I looked at my life about how I connect with people, how I've uplifted and inspired. And it really just gave more credence to my personality. And, I'm not big on astrology and all that. But in this instance, the meaning of my name really goes with my character, really goes with my personality. So that was just a spectacular experience for me that I learned from hip hop. Let me repeat that. Hip hop taught me something about self awareness because of that song, Beloved.
Okay, okay. So you said something here. You said you're talking about the chapter on Harlem. Can you talk about how you've incorporated different locations into your book?
Absolutely. So people think there's a strategy, there's a science to it, but there's not. It's simply, where is that artist from? Like I said, Dave East is from Harlem, so that chapter is named Harlem. Lagos, Nigeria. I use a track by Wizkid, who was a Nigerian artist from Lagos. So it's that simple. Wherever that artist is from, that's why that chapter has that city.
Love it. Love it. Okay. So my next question, so I added that question in, so there are actually five. So my next question is, you have greatness inside of you is a line that is repeated throughout the book. Can you elaborate on this affirmation?
Absolutely. We talk about our, not even to get too religious or spiritual, but we always talk about the power of the tongue. You know, in some readings, you do the study of manifestation and, you know, all those types of things. So what you say, what you think, to bring it back to like a mental health kind of connotation, cognitive behavior therapy. Your thoughts drive how you feel drives your actions. So if you have negative self-talk and you wonder why life is not going the way you want or plan, you have to think about your thoughts. So when I offer that affirmation to not just students, because anybody who reads the book can glean something from that affirmation. So let's repeat it right now. You have greatness inside of you. If you say that enough, my hope is that you'll start to believe that. And this is the thing I tell to my students. If you believe that you have greatness inside of you, your actions will change. Therefore, you will reduce skipping school. You will reduce getting into conflicts, you know, using substances. If you thought that you were great, you would move
Yes.
differently. And that is the whole point of that affirmation. That's why I put it in every chapter, because I need people to understand there is power in the tongue. There's power in your thoughts. And I need everybody, not just my students, to think that they have greatness inside of them. Therefore, their actions will be of a great nature, and they will, you know, stop doing some of the things that have led them to failure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have to stop here. I want to share real fast the story. So I was going to my mailbox. David had just sent me the book. And I was at a place where I was like, I don't know, am I doing the right thing here? Like maybe I need to, you know, because I'm doing the business full time. So maybe I need to like find a job, you know, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I might be doing this right thing. And I opened the book, and I don't know if you can see it,
You can.
right? You can see it? Okay. So I opened it up and I was still sitting in my car. I didn't even drive off yet because I'm in this contemplative state, like, what am I doing? So it says, to Amara, from the halls of Virginia Union to creating an impact on our youth, we live on the same frequency. Never forget that you have greatness inside of you. David Spellman. After reading that, I was like, let's go. Let's go. We got this. So
Absolutely.
part of the journey. So thank you for that, David. That was the inspiring moment. That was the altering moment. I was like, it's time. Let's go. We could do it. I was pumped up. The clap it up was on and everything. What do you hope students will take away from reading Just Like Music?
I want to say that is a loaded question. So I will do my best to navigate the multiple layers of the impact that I want students to have. First and foremost, let's back up. So with this whole concept of using hip hop to boost up social and emotional learning skills, but also when you read the book, you'll see there's a lot of literacy skills that can be gleaned from the curriculum as well. And I come from the school of thought of Zaretta Hammond, culturally responsive teaching. And if you're unfamiliar, it's basically the notion that in order to connect with kids who have been marginalized, you have to use their culture or their interests to still maintain rigor. So this is not just, oh, we're going to make a beat, we're going to rap, and it has nothing to do with the standards. No, I'm just showing educators or anybody who will lend me their ear how you can use hip hop culture to boost up skills that we say we want our students to have, whether it's boosting up the literacy, their reading comprehension, all of those things, and or those social skills. Through my curriculum, we talk about gratitude, we talk about self-efficacy, conflict resolution, being more aware of your community. I even have activities where students are doing a service learning project. So I'm really tapping into every aspect of a young person's life. Let me say this, because it was geared towards secondary students. So there's chapters in there about interpersonal relationships, because they are going to be dating. They need to know how to navigate whether it's going good or bad. So I really was intentional about what would a young person experience and how can hip hop provide those lessons. So I know we talk about instructors, we talk about professors, we talk about the great philosophers and poets. Every hip hop artist, in my mind, is a street philosopher, is a street poet. So
Absolutely.
I'm not going to
Absolutely.
take any kind of credibility from them because they don't have a doctoral degree. And that's hence the point why I created the curriculum, because I want kids that associate with the culture, Black and brown youth, to know I can be my authentic self in the schoolhouse and it still adds value to my grades. It still adds value to my personal development, because oftentimes hip hop is not allowed in school. It's not part of the, and I will say it's part of the dominant culture, but not part of the dominant public school culture. Why hip hop does not belong there. My whole mission for everything that I do is to destigmatize hip hop for educational consumption. And I'm very passionate about that mission. So everything that I do, I'm showing educators and students alike, yes, hip hop has value in the schoolhouse. Yes, hip hop has value in the community outside of just the physical rapping. Like, yes, that's one aspect of hip hop, but hip hop is a culture. You know, I have to say this. KRS-One, one of the greatest microphone checker MCs in the game, and he's coined with this phrase. He said, "Rap is something you do, hip hop is something you live." And I've been living hip hop since 1986. Since my birth, I've been living hip hop. So it's no surprise why I'm doing the work that I'm doing now. So what I want my students to gain from this is to say, man, I can still be who I am and still be AB honor roll, can still know how to navigate conflicts appropriately through hip hop. I don't have to leave
Absolutely.
my culture to gain these things because it's right here. Going back to the
Absolutely.
affirmation, you have greatness inside of you. If your culture is hip hop, you don't have to go anywhere. It's already there for you. That is what I'm trying to impart on the young people. And that requires a mindset shift from both the students and the educators. Because the students, if they only listen to the negative aspects of hip hop, of course, that's going to, condition them for a certain way of life. But for the educators, hip hop in the classroom, oh, never. Maybe, okay, well, we can get something as far as metaphors and similes, but no, hip hop can offer so much more than those literary
Absolutely.
devices, or literary devices, I should say.
Absolutely. Making inferences, drawing conclusions, vocabulary words, then getting them to go and create it themselves. So one of the things that I think about is how engaging and impactful it is for students. I also think about, like, this is going to be something that the students participate in every Monday, right? So when they're doing this, not only are they digging into the social emotional learning piece, but they're doing it through text. They're doing it through language. We're going to practice code switching. What is code switching? It's where I'm speaking informally about a topic, but then I create something and I'm able to speak formally about it. I'm able to use academic language about it, but I use something that's engaging as my median, my springboard to be able to talk in an articulate way, in the way that they might have to do like a public setting, formal speaking, but we're giving them something of interest. And then we're using that to cultivate greatness inside of them, just like David said. Another thing about the book, it's not like a normal book that you have. Like, really, you have lessons in here. So it gives you the materials, it tells you an objective, there's standards in here. I'm working on the crosswalk so that it'll be VA standards too. You have vocabulary, prior knowledge, guided practice, independent practice, lesson wrap up, challenges, and then bonus activities too. So it's very comprehensive. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about the partnership. Also, David is a behavioral specialist, and he will be supporting with the training to make sure that the teachers feel comfortable and competent in going out and supporting students. So I want to thank you, David, for spending time with me today, introducing you to everyone to see, the materials that we're going to use, the people that we have behind us supporting this great work. So thank you.
No problem. No problem at all.